Hello everyone, my name is JWinder and this is our EDL 850 Mod 12 case study, Copyright and the Computer, Regulations Governing Technology. First we're going to summarize the case and establish the facts. St. Regis, a small K-8 rural school, is fundraising for extra money to purchase new computers and software. Mrs. Lynn, the library media specialist, has worked with the PTA to bring new computer software to the computer lab. Mrs. Lynn took it a bit too far when teachers asked her to make additional copies of the computer programs. Mrs. Williams, a third grade teacher, appreciated the new copies, but another third grade teacher, Mrs. Brandon, did not appreciate the copyright violation that just occurred. Myself, Principal Sample, has told Miss Lynn that this is a copyright violation and all copies need to be collected. No more copies are to be made either. Mrs. Lynn does not understand why, because she is saving the school so much money by doing this. Next, we're going to take a look at any legal or ethical issues. Mrs. Lynn's extra copying of the computer programs are a violation of copyright laws. This violation is legally wrong and ethically wrong. This is a violation of the Copyright Act and school policy. It could be potentially harmful to the school if not fixed immediately. It also bothered Mrs. Brandon and Mr. Sample from an ethical standpoint. Now we're going to synthesize what has happened in a single sentence. Mrs. Lynn has violated copyright laws by making additional copies of a computer program for teachers. Now we're going to evaluate the missing facts. The people involved in this case were Keith Sample, the principal, Mrs. Lynn, a library media specialist, Mrs. Brandon, a third grade teacher, Mrs. Williams, another third grade teacher, and Mrs. Evans, the PTA president. The place is St. Regis, which is a small rural town. The program is a K-8 school. Next, we're going to evaluate and prioritize the information. Yes, this could be damaging to the school and its stakeholders. Mrs. Lynn and Mr. Sample have an important stake in the outcome of this. No, I do not believe all stakeholders have been consulted. The superintendent should definitely be informed. I do believe, though, I have enough information to make a decision. Options to improve and develop a plan. Option number 1 would be to take no action. Option number 2 would be to inform the superintendent of the problem and write up Mrs. Lynn for the violation. Option 3, be firm with my decision to take all copies and stop making copies. Inform the superintendent of the situation. Show Mrs. Lynn the Copyright Act and school policy. Work with the PTA to raise additional funds to purchase copies legally. And continue building positive relationships with all staff to ensure their trust in my decision. Next, we're going to evaluate the plan's pros and cons. Option number 1, pros. None available in my opinion. Cons. We're in violation of copyright laws and there's nothing resolved. Option 2, pros. There is actually action taken against Mrs. Lynn. Cons. There's damaged relationships and division. Option 3, pros. The situation is handled professionally, the problem is solved, we are not in violation of copyright laws, there are legal copies purchased, and relationships are eventually restored. Cons. There are none available in my opinion. Now we're going to develop the best plan and make the best choice. In my opinion, it is option number 3. I believe that this was the best decision for all involved. This decision was made after consultation with all involved parties. It also promotes the current and future success and well-being of all students and adults. With all available information and resources, this was the best option. Next, we're going to implement the plan. What's it look like to implement the plan? Number 1, I would meet with Mrs. Lynn and the superintendent. I would share my reasoning with her. Because of the relationship that we've had prior, I would hope that she would understand where I was coming from. I would share the Copyright Act with her and school policy, and hope that she sees that this is the best avenue for us to go. Number 2, I would take all copies and stop additional copies. Number 3, I would work with the PTA to raise additional funds for additional legal copies. Number 4, I would continue building relationships with Mrs. Lynn and all staff to build trust. And number 5, I believe that this is the best course of action and will work in the end. Here are my concluding statements. The CLO correlation. This case study directly correlated with CLO 6.3. I was able to reflect, evaluate, and communicate the laws and policies related to copyright that promoted the future success and well-being of all involved. Relevant. This assignment was very relevant to my current learning. It will impact my future as a building leader by keeping me aware of the laws and regulations regarding copyright. Reflection. This assignment will impact my future as a building leader in a few ways. It will keep me up to date on all copyright laws and policies. It will also remind me to be in constant communication with my staff about avoiding copyright issues. Thank you all for listening. I've enjoyed taking this course with you. Best wishes to you in the future. Take care.